with James and Matt, who are the flight crew of the MH-60R. Gentlemen, you're from the shoot, yeah?
That's right, sir.
Okay. James, we'll start with yourself. If you want to let us know your name, rank, and serial. No, just name and rank is fine, and what you do with the this aircraft.
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant James Hunt from Alabama.
Cool.
And I am the hack here on the MH-60 Romeo.
Okay.
On the shoot, also, I'm the maintenance officer on board.
Okay.
So I control all the maintenance to keep these two birds to from mission capable status each day.
Keeps you busy, huh?
It does. It does. These aircraft are extremely reliable, though, compared to older airframes. So it's nice to have a brand new aircraft to be able to fly every day.
Yeah.
It's very few times that we have to actually fix anything, so it's very nice.
Okay. And now you said you were the hack. Can you?
Yes, helicopter aircraft commander.
Okay.
So when we fly together,
I'm the 2P. They call me the 2P.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's in training to become a hack.
Okay.
He starts off coming right out of the fleet replacement school.
Yep.
And he's just got about 60 hours inside the aircraft, and then over the space of the next year to 2 years of training, he flies enough with me to be able to then act as the hack for his next cruise when he goes out.
Okay. Cool. And James, I understand you started flying before you went to the Navy.
I did. I was in college and got a refund on my tuition and used that to get my private pilot's license.
Okay.
And then after that, realized that I quickly ran out of money, so I had to have someone else pay for my flying habit. So that's how I joined the Navy. And my dad was a naval officer before, so the Navy was the automatic pick for me.
So when you learned to fly fixed wing or helicopter when you did your private?
The fixed wing. Okay. Small little Cessnas.
And so when you joined the Navy, you went straight into helicopters?
I did. We start off learning on the T-34, now going into the T-6 trainer. Yeah. But we all start off fixed wing, and then from there we make the determination about what type of platform you want to go to. Okay. We both obviously chose helos, so went off to fly the TH-57 in Milton, and the little Jet Rangers. Yeah. A lot of fun to fly. Yeah. And now we're moved on to the 60.
Okay. And how long have you been flying the 60?
I've been flying the 60 for a little over 4 years now.
Okay, cool. Okay, Matt.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing very well.
Yeah, I knew we'd get to you eventually. Matt, can you tell us a bit about yourself, your rank, where you're from?
Lieutenant JG Matt Henrich. I'm from Rhode Island now, but we're stationed in San Diego, so that's my new place of residence. I've only been flying for about 4 years now. I've been in the Navy for 4 years, so I started flight school right out of college. I didn't have any previous flight experience before that, but kind of always knew I wanted to fly. Yep. Didn't know whether or not fixed wing or helicopters, but that first time I learned how to hover, it was like, okay, I want to fly helicopters. So it was flew everything that he's flown except the B. Yeah. Flew the T-34. Yep. Also flew prior to the Piper. It was a Piper Tomahawk.
Okay.
And then the Bell 206.
Okay.
So.
Yep. And so how many hours you got now?
Right now, total, I think I just broke 500 hours like a month ago or so. We've been flying a lot on deployment, so
okay, cool.
Definitely getting up there.
How'd you go with the hover? How long did it take you to get that figured?
Well, we learn in it doesn't have an AFCS system on the Bravo model of the TH-57. Yeah. So it's straight stick to hydraulics to the main rotor. So, I mean, after like an hour, it's not it's not that bad. Probably less than that, but I don't know. Getting all the feet, hand, eye coordination, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely great to finally get it on. Get it down though.
I know a few people. It's taken a few goes to get that hover sorted out. How'd you go, James?
Long time ago, but I can remember definitely just trying to stay in the box with my instructor touching the controls with one finger going, I don't understand why this is so hard for you.
There's nothing wrong with this system.
This is very easy. It's working very perfect. As the aircraft tries to do this, he said without the automatic flight control system on the TH-57, that aircraft just wants to hard flight and go down.
But one little time a friend of mine said, here, take the controls. He very quickly took them back off me. He was like, here, just try this.
It's funny the way they teach you. You're in a white box on like an old tarmac down at a field, and they'll they'll give you the cyclic, and then they'll take that back. They'll give you the collective, and then they'll give you the pedals, and then they're like, okay, here, take all of them at the same time, and then it's just all over the place. And then you finally get the hang of it, and you're kind of staying in the middle. Yeah. And then you eventually get it.
Yeah.
Goes from there.
Now, the USS Ship, we don't know much about that particular ship. We might talk about that in a minute. But your squadron, what is it that you do, and what roles do you perform?
Our two main missions are anti-submarine warfare and surface warfare. So going out and hunting small vessels that could be a threat to either the ship or to whatever high-value unit that we're assigned to protect at the time. And then submarine warfare for protecting the high-value units from the submarines.
Okay. That's a rather involved training process, I imagine. Once you've actually learned to fly, then you've got to go off and learn a whole new discipline.
Right. We go through an initial pilot phase to learn how to fly the helicopter, and then we go into the simulators that at North Island in San Diego. We learn, the tactics behind ASW and SUW, and it's a longer process for the tactics phase than it is for the pilot phase. I think it's 2 months for the pilot phase, another like 6-7 months for the tactics phase.
Okay. And so you're with the Sabre Hawks, is the name of your unit, and are you able to tell us a bit of the history of the Sabre Hawks?
Sure. We started off as HSL 47, flying the 60B, this F-70B for Australia, and flew that for, I think it was 1980 something that the squadron came into existence. My history of the squadron is not that good. But,
we don't want to put you on the spot, but you got it in.
And some of the stuff that the squadron did before changing over to HSM-77 is they did the tsunami relief, and did Katrina relief efforts, and then we also started the what's called the Bravo to Sea model for us, which is where we are actually part of the carrier air wing now, and deploy as an entire squadron, which is completely different from the way that HSL was for the last 20 years. Normally it's 2 aircraft go out with a destroyer or a frigate, and they come back 6 months later, and then they join back to their squadron. But we all go out at one time. Our commanding officer and executive officer are on the carrier. And so we all come back home, and we'll all be back together again. It's very different. So after our last deployment, we came back. That's when we started training to learn the new MH-60 Romeo. And since then, we changed our name to HSM-77, which is Helicopter Maritime Strike. It's not HMS, or sound like the Royal Navy or anything, so call it HSM. And since then, we just coming back from a 6-month deployment with the Romeo here. And this is the first time the Romeo has gone to a 5th Fleet and be operational there. So it's the second deployment in Holdo for the Romeo.
And how are you finding the Romeo?
It's a pleasure to fly after being a B pilot for a long time. All the stuff that we always kind of wanted to be able to do, and now it's all possible. It's 10 times more information that's given to you, but it's not an overload for you. So you're able to just kind of process it and process the situation better now to make it all happen. And this is the big game changer for us out here. The Navy's new program is to convert all of our helicopters and just go down to having the Romeo and the Sierra model. So the Foxtrot is going away, so we got the Dipper now on board. This is what is the great equalizer when it comes to anti-submarine warfare. It's very tough for submarines to be able to escape once we get on top of them with this, especially when we have 2 helicopters working together.
Because you can triangulate your sounds, and I imagine you got all the data links and everything, so that the sensors in the back are just automatically chatting to each other and seeing what each other's seeing and things like that.
Exactly. We communication suite has been upgraded immensely too from the B model. We've gone from having just normally our data link and having UHF, and now we have Link 16 capabilities and frequency hopping and all types of increased communication, SATCOM abilities that just never even thought about ever having in a B, and now they're commonplace. A few keystrokes and you're bouncing off a satellite and processing information and giving it to the fleet commanders so they can make decisions on what to do.
Network warfare and things like that.
You always hear the Bravo guys, well, back when I used to fly Bravo, equivalent of when your parents tell you, back when I used to walk to school 3 miles. But I have no comparison to the B model, so I just have all this cool new equipment that I'm still learning everything, but we have so many new tools and which makes it not only fun to see the whole tactical picture, but the helicopter is still really fun to fly, which as a pilot, that's a huge plus. So
and would you regard that as the major difference is the electronic suite and the actual equipment in the aircraft rather than the airframe itself? Is it still fairly similar from the B?
Oh, it's very, very similar from the B. The CG is just a little bit different on some of your types of landings, but if you can fly a B, you can fly a Romeo. It's just a little bit different now that you have all the glass cockpit, but it's incredibly similar. And I think also one of the things is when you're switching over from the B to the Romeo, I completed my training in just 2 months to be able to be a aircraft commander on the Romeo. So all of the skills that we had on the B definitely just translated right on over.
Okay.
And you were talking about before operating in tandem with a second aircraft. Is that generally the way you would operate? Is it a team effort like that, or would you generally go out by yourselves?
It's tough to work in a team effort when we're independent operations. But as being, like I said, we all deploy together now, so we can be in a strike group and have multiple aircraft launching off different ships to join up to be able to prosecute the mission. So we do that a lot. Probably more than any other squadron from the Bs of the past, just because of our ability to come together as a squadron out to sea. So formation flying for us is second nature.
Excellent.
Now, one of the interesting things I see hanging off here is a hook. Obviously, you can do rescue work as well.
That's true. All of our sensor operators are also rescue swimmers. So SAR is our secondary mission. Primary mission for SAR is the HSC helicopters, the Sierras. But we also have the ability to go in and execute SAR when needed.
Now, you mentioned the Big Dipper, that big piece of equipment there behind you. Now, I take it that's where you go into a hover and drop a listening device. That you dip the listening device. Is that on a cable going down, or is it a piece of solid equipment?
This is the actual cable unit itself. Goes down a long way. And it's able to detect the submarines. Just right from the hover.
So it cancels out the sound of your hover and just lets you listen in for the engine noise and cavitation and all that kind of stuff.
What's active?
So it's pinging away as well.
How does that affect you with regard to centre of gravity and those sorts of issues when you're actually physically connected to the water and you've got, say, choppy seas or a bit of a current? Is that difficult to deal with? Is that a skill you need to master?
The system doesn't really matter what the seas are for as far as this connecting to the water, because it just is such a small little cable that's down there. It doesn't really affect us. Flying over, whenever you're hovering over water, it's always dependent on the sea state. So no matter if it's doing this or doing search and rescue, it can be a little more challenging when we get the high seas.
Because do you have to maintain a relative position of your cable? It'll go down and you've got the swell, the pitch, so you've got to go up and down with it, or do you just
you just let the waves do what they need to do? We try to stay as stable as possible.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
Cool.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. William, you're the sensor operator here, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you like to let us know your rank and where you're from, mate?
I'm a Petty Officer Second Class, E5, and I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And how long have you been with the Navy?
Coming up on 10 years now.
Okay. You went straight from school to the Navy?
Yes, sir. High school, straight to the Navy.
Okay. And what's you're the sensor operator here?
Yes, sir. Sensor operator.
Okay. Some places they call that a sensor. Is there a
Senso, SO? We do rescue swimmer too. You hear a lot of different things. Crew chief.
Yeah. Hey you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what was the training path to go from just basic entry up to being a sensor operator?
So you do your basic boot camp, and then you do like what's called an air crew school, which anybody that's enlisted in the Navy does, and then we have to do rescue swimmer school, because anybody that's in helicopters has to be a rescue swimmer.
Yep.
Then after that, you go what's called like an acoustic school. Yep. You learn about listening to submarines and operating radars and stuff like that. That's about 17 weeks. Yep. And then you make it out to your fleet, whatever, train your aircraft training, and that's about another 6 or 7 months. So you're in school for almost 2 years before you're actually fully qualified to do the mission.
Okay. So you've gone through the training about the acoustics of a submarine and operating the radar and all that. About how long does that last?
That lasts for this aircraft. It's pretty lengthy. It's about 9 months following after all the other stuff. So yeah. Okay. But initially, with all the rescue swimmer school and basic flight schools, it's almost 2 years total before you're actually out in the fleet. Okay. But this platform-specific training is almost 9 to 10 months now. So
that's quite intense.
It's very intense because there's so many systems to operate.
Yeah. So I imagine you're quite busy back here.
Yes, you can be. But anything I can do in the back, they can do up front, so we can kind of trade off, who's going to do what. But if we're doing acoustics, usually like sonar, that's what I'm pretty much focused on, and the pilots up front, or the ATO running the track and whatnot like that.
Okay, so you're working pretty closely as a team and swapping roles.
Crew coordination is a vital aspect to successful mission in this aircraft.
Yep. Cool. So how long have you been with Romeo?
I was actually one of the very first aircrewmen to do it, because I was in an older variant of the Seahawk, the SH-60 Foxtrot, and that had dipping sonar, so they were looking for guys with experience with dipping sonar. And I was actually factory trained by Lockheed Martin way back in 2005 when the Navy first got the Romeo. Okay. So I got about 1,300 hours in it already. Okay, so we'll go through the systems that you got later, and we'll get inside the cabin and do some filming in there. Sure. But in terms of typical mission and durations and things like that, how long are you sitting in the back here and glued to that screen? Anywhere from typical flight is usually a minimum of 3 hours. Okay. You can go all the way up to 6. The longest I've ever flown is about 9.5 hours. Okay. That's very uncommon in a helicopter. Yeah, that is a long time. Now, how is it sitting in the back here in terms of noise and comfort? Well, not so much comfort in terms of reclining chairs, but just after a while, the back gets a little sore. It gets pretty cramped up because safety is the main priority with the seats, not really comfort. So, and they have some padding on them, but you just get used to it after a while. Okay, it becomes just like routine. Okay, cool. Chad, mate. Yes. Welcome aboard, and thank you, sir. Mate, if you want to give your name and where you're from, mate.
81 Chad Youngblood from Detroit, Michigan. Cool. Been in the Navy almost 12 years now. Yep. And been working on this aircraft for going on 2 years now. Okay. So.
Now, Chad, you're a maintainer, and you just said you're from Detroit, so that's probably appropriate from what we understand of Detroit.
Yeah, it's Motor City, so that is pretty fitting, I guess.
So what areas are you working on? Are you working on the electronics or the engines?
Yeah, mainly main rotor, tail rotor, engines, everything that deals with fuel, oil. Okay. All that kind of stuff.
All the Detroity stuff.
Yeah, getting in the fuel cells and just making sure all the, basically everything doing with the engines. Okay, cool. What kind of entry path did you go through? Pretty much just kind of an entry-level school for everybody in my specific rate, AD. We go through a school in Pensacola for, it's like 12 weeks. Yep. That's our initial A school. Yep. Gives you a some generalized training, common use like for tools and stuff. Just kind of get your feet wet there. Yep. And then from there, you go towards your path of whatever specific aircraft you're going to work on. Okay. And in all those schools, they just consider C schools, just more in-depth, specific training what you'll be working on. Okay. And how long does it take you to keep one of these in the air for every, like how many man hours is there in terms of once she's landed? It really all depends. Every 175 flight hours, we have our phase inspections. Okay. So we go through there and make sure everything's good, do our checks, look for anything that's, out of the norm. Yeah. Go through all of our maintenance requirement cards. Okay. And make sure everything's tip-top.
So anything particular, have you been just maintaining the Romeo, or have you worked on other airframes as well?
I've worked on different, mostly fixed-wing for myself, on S3s, which is older, phased-out fixed-wing, basically for aero refueling purposes. Yep. So, yeah, this is just getting my feet wet in helicopters. It's been a really enjoyable experience for me.
Cool. Okay. Steve, any...
was going to ask you, when it comes to maintaining the Romeo, there'd be a core set of competencies, I guess, for maintaining any sort of helicopter, I guess. How much of what you do here is specific to this aircraft versus what you would learn generally for any helicopter? Is there a lot of specialisation, I guess, is what I'm asking?
Not for my specific job, being an AD. Ours is pretty much straightforward. I mean, it's kind of interchangeable for me, you know? Yeah. I mean, obviously these guys, the systems that they work on and all these components, this is Romeo-specific equipment. So as far as I'm concerned, for me, it's pretty much straight level.
Now, Jenna, before we finish, you're coming from the USS Shoup. Can you tell us about that particular ship? We don't really know much about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's a destroyer, guided missile destroyer, based out of Bremerton, Washington. It carries a complement of 2 helicopters. That's the detachment. You know, it's got the RAS landing system, so you can land in heavy weather or whatnot with the main probe. You know, it comes out the bottom of the aircraft for inclement weather. Got 7 pilots, 3 sensor operators, and 17 maintenance personnel on board. We're kind of in our own little world out there. I mean, pretty much could do anything from, you know, major overhauls to fly a lot. You know, pretty much fly every day, at least minimum of 9 hours. So it's just like a little floating airport, I guess, for us.
Yep. Okay. Keeps you pretty busy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, that's cool, guys. Thanks for your time here,
No
and we might take a bit of a look around the aircraft and get out of these gentlemen's hair.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
No
Okay, William, if you want to give us a run through of all the equipment you got here.
Okay, so obviously we don't have power on the aircraft, so you can't see any displays, but this is where I work as a sensor operator.
Yeah.
Over here I have what we call the RMCU, Rolling Machine Control Unit, so this is how I operate my dipping sonar.
Okay.
Raising it up and down, you know, folding it, unfolding it, things like that. This is what we call our key set, so we have multiple different electronic keys for each different menu you pull up. Like if you're operating radar, you have sets of keys for radar.
Okay.
If you hit ESM, you have keys for that. You know, acoustics, everything changes.
So they're all soft driven?
Yes, these are soft keys, so they change with, you know, whatever menu you're in.
Cool.
These are our fixed keys. These never change.
Okay.
Everything goes up on the display here.
Yep.
Multicolored, you know, have everything. It's actually supposed to be 720 resolution. So, but and then over here is where this is our comm control. Operate all the comms and stuff like that. And then up here is our where we run our RAS probe I was telling you about.
Okay.
To land on the ship.
Yeah. So you control that from back here.
We just lower it, and we give the pilots conning calls like, okay, sir, left, right, you know, forward 1, back 1, and then once we're over the trap, they land it.
Okay.
And then it locks onto the beam.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
And then here I got my FLIR control unit.
Okay.
So this is where I operate the FLIR that you see on the front.
Yep.
So pretty much we could do everything in the back, and they could do anything I can do up front except release the weapon. So like I said, the crew coordination really comes into play because you got a lot of systems on this aircraft. But I guess this is where the magic happens back here for us. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
No problem.
Okay, James, we're now inside the cockpit, and let's run through some of the gear that we've got here, mate.
Okay. Well, it's still the standard basic cockpit of normal 60, which is nice because all the things are the same. This is our rotor brake.
Yep.
And this is what allows us to stop our rotors when we're on the ship, and we can actually fire up both of the engines against the rotor brake. And then as soon as we're ready to go, throw the rotor brake off, bring the engines up to fly, and then we're up and going in just a very short amount of time at that low RPM stage where you're kind of a little bit iffy about about people coming in and out and the blades being able to control them.
Especially on a pitching and rolling ship.
Exactly, exactly. Still standard for aviation circuit breakers all across there and then here. And then your head is there covered by another more circuit breakers. In front of you here, the complete glass cockpit. We don't have the ability to turn it on right now because we have all the electronics deconfigured so that we don't break anything with people touching the wrong switches and whatnot. But all these different bezel keys down here at the bottom. We have different menus that we can go through, and so lots of information on this screen. The screen that's directly in front of you is where all of your AI, altitude, airspeed information, engine your engine performance, how your rotor head is doing, lets you know. So instantly right there in front of you.
Excellent.
On the actual cyclic itself,
yep.
We have lots of different buttons and little things in here. People get themselves in trouble with some of the ones that we don't touch very often, the emergency releases and whatnot.
Yeah. Wow, that's a very serious HOTAS scenario there.
We can, but actually it's really helpful. We have this button right here, so we can change actually our displays.
Oh, okay.
By just hitting buttons on our cyclic, so it allows us to instantly go from the tactical side to as I'm acting as the hack. I'm always worried about how the aircraft is performing, so I can go to our diagnostics page and just get a good glimpse of what's going on.
Yeah, get onto management of the aircraft.
Exactly.
Yep.
Towards the center here is we got our key sets. Yep. Same one exactly on both sides. So we have the ability to do everything on either side of the aircraft. It doesn't matter. So all these keys, they light up and they have different types of functions no matter which type of subset layer you're in.
So again, software controlled keys here, depending on where you're at there, these change?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. They seem a little daunting when you first start looking at all those different layers, but be amazed at how you just know where they are and you don't even have to think and hit them after a while.
That's pretty awesome.
Other than that, we have our this is our automatic flight control system. So this is what makes us be better pilots.
Yeah, that's got to be a good thing.
Yes, it is, especially on long missions that can help you out. That's also controls all our hovering for our ability to sit there in that coupled hover for a long period of time.
Yeah, bit of an auto.
Well, we have the dipper in the water.
Yeah, because I mean, William was talking about going for 3-6 hours up to 9 at max, and that's a long time to be keeping it under control. So anything that gives you a hand has got to be good.
Exactly. Here the stab. This if we don't have a stab that moves, then our nose will start to be way too far down as we get going too fast. So this just keeps us in a nice even position as we go along.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have the ability to jettison everything off our aircraft if we need to for any type of emergency. And then our ability to control all the radios. We can be listening up to 8 different channels in our ears at one time. Generally, you're just listening to about maybe 3 radios at once. It sounds weird, but you actually are able to discern what they are. Some have different beeps that how they talk to let you know that it's coming over on that frequency. So that's helpful.
Okay.
So down here, have the ability to, if we lose everything else, we can still control our radios manually.
Okay.
And that's key. Over here, we got the blade fold. This system, it works amazingly well.
So that's an auto blade fold?
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
We hit the button. And the blades will just come right back. And especially on the carrier. You do it very quickly.
So
they pull us out onto the spot. And as soon as we're out to the spot, we spread our blades, fire up our engines, and we go. Because carrier is a very quickly moving environment. You have to be fast.
Very dangerous kind of place. So I guess when you're landing, your protocol be land, brake, and then fold on the ship.
Yes. We're generally we're just trying to, especially if it's during the midday or mid-cycle, we call it. It's a quick fold stuff.
Get it back around.
Start getting the 18s off the deck. Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Also over here, your collective. We have more buttons and controls on there as well that your thumbs just start running, start searchlight, and we can control our the heading of the aircraft from here as well too.
So now, because you got the collective over here, now this one's got I noticed it's got a different collective to your one.
That one there extends if you pull out on it.
Oh, okay, and then
you rotate it.
Okay,
it locks in position that way in case when you're coming inside the aircraft.
You don't.
It allows you to come in easily.
Relatively.
To us, it's easy. You do it a few 1,000 times, and you realize how to get your foot through here without hitting this. That's the big thing. Also, on your next to your right leg there.
I noticed this one.
This is your control for all of the FLIR.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's your FLIR joystick kind of thing.
You can turn it this way right here.
Turn that there,
and then you push these buttons right here and controls your different modes and zooms of the camera. And that's also this button right there. That is how you fire off the missiles and shoot your torpedoes. So that's the good one.
That's the one to play with.
Yeah.
The finger on the button.
No, that finger doesn't go near that button. Not till the final authority is given.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, okay, because I was looking down at that one going, well, hang on, no, because the collector's here, so what's that? So, yeah, okay. Yeah. You got one of those on your side?
I do. I have, this is a big change to have this on the right seat now, because I have my own FLIR and everything, so I can just pass you the controls, and I can run all the stuff. Yeah. You get good at pushing buttons with both your right and your left hand, depending on which side you're in at the time. So
I can imagine.
It's really nice.
That is a big change over the Seahawk and the previous ones is your tacho was on one side and your commander on the other, and now it's you can be on whichever side. Yeah,
exactly.
It's all software driven. It's like I'll take that over on this side. So that's very good. Cool. Well, thank you very much, James.
Oh, well,
thanks for running me through that. That's great.
Glad we could have you out here.
Thanks. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Cool.
Plane Crazy Down Under is sponsored by Jet Ride Australia, Oz Runways, Red Baron, and Smart Shots. Join the in-depth discussion on all topics aviation related at planecrazydownunder.com or search iTunes for Plane Crazy Down Under.